Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to the Steagles podcast. I'm DJ Baez. This is my co-host, Ed. In 1943, the Eagles and the Steelers both joined forces to make one team. It was because of the World War II. Both teams didn't have enough players and coaches, so we decided to join forces to make one team so they can still compete. And that year, we went 5-4-1. It's crazy, 5-4-1. You know what I'm saying? Looking at how the Steelers have been lately and how they go over 500 for the last 16 seasons, I think. You guys been over 500, so the fact that was
pretty decent.
Yeah, the fact that was already going on back then, you know, just kind of shows how that organization is ran. But so we're the Steagles. We decided to go with that name because, you know, he's a Steelers fan, I'm an Eagles fan, and we thought that was something that we can use as a platform for us to find a common ground, you know what I'm saying? And I think the Steagles was it. So
and like we were talking about, a lot of our friends, family members, they're either Eagles fans, Ravens fans, Steelers fans, a few Cowboys fans, but for the most part around this area too, I feel like Steelers, Eagles, and Ravens. So of course we're not gonna rep anything related to the Ravens. Just so you know.
Or Dallas, you know what I'm saying? I'm just kidding. For real though, yeah, it don't matter. I mean, at the end of the day,
welcome everybody and anybody.
Any fan. So if you a Ravens fan, you're a Dallas fan, it's all love, but not really. You know, you can just come on the podcast and we'll let you say your piece because this is a fans podcast. We want to interact with you guys. So
the thing is that it's not about Ed or bias. It's about not just the Steelers or the Eagles. We're talking about what? What are we talking about?
The full NFL. We're going to be bringing up topics from previous seasons. We're going to be analyzing previous seasons and giving our opinion on how we feel the season turned out, how our teams actually played that year, any improvements, and how that year basically reflects our team now. So, you know, one of our segments later on the episode, we'll be talking about the 2020 season. That'll be one of our subjects coming up here shortly. But before we get off the Steagles topic, I wanted to read something which I thought was very interesting fact about the Steagles. So we had a bunch of players who apparently had really bad injuries, and in some way they had a disability, but they were still playing football at this time, 1943. So Tony Bova, the Steagles' leading receiver, was 17 receptions that year. 17 receptions, he was a leading receiver. So you can tell they don't throw the ball; they just run the ball. Yeah. He was blind in one eye and partially blind in the other. And he led the Eagles in receiving receptions. That's crazy, right? Like, at the end, I don't really that's why. I mean, more power to the man, you know what I'm saying? That just shows how resilient this team was, I guess, at this point. But another one was Steagles guard Ed Michaels. He was nearly deaf. And center Ray Graves was deaf in one ear as well. So, like, it was just, I mean, I can still play with that. You know what I'm saying? Pause.
But that's I can still. You don't see that a lot.
No, but the fact that we had a lot of players that one went to war, you know, and you know a lot of these players had disabilities already and still play football. Like,
what year is this? 42, 43?
What was that?
What year was this?
This was the season of 1943. Yeah, and the place kicker and punter Troy Smith had a prosthetic leg.
That's crazy,
right? Like, that's talking about inspiration. Like, anybody could play football. You know,
you have no excuse.
No excuse. Anybody can play football. And that year, and a couple of more facts on the Steagles again. That year they finished 5-4-1, which I brought up earlier. They were third in division. They didn't make the playoffs, but I mean that's kind of how the season went. I would say that was a successful season. The fact that they had a winning record. You know, what can you do when you have to put two teams together last minute because of a war, and you know. You just had to perform. So, in my opinion, I think they did all right. We just want to spread knowledge on that team, and then we thought that the concept of both teams coming together was great for us and our podcast as well. So,
we feel like good when good people get together, great things can happen. So
perfect.
That's
I love
what happened
that
with them, and that's what we are trying to do.
Exactly. I love that.
And more than just talking about the Steelers and the Eagles or just football. We want to learn and educate. We want to share information. We want to unify. We want to see other people's point of view, and basically, be a platform for people to express themselves.
Correct.
So it's not just about the Steelers or the Eagles. It's just about anything NFL related and those teams as well.
Yeah. So again, like, what should you expect from us? This podcast, like, why should you tune into us? I feel like we just want any fan to voice their opinion, come on the podcast, and just cheer for the team. Like, you don't have to. You could be a beginner fan, intermediate, or or not a professional, but like an expert fan to where you know everything about your team. But you might not know everything about your team. Like, I wasn't that fan my whole life. Like, when I became an Eagles fan at first, I was just like a general fan. Like, I probably knew about 3 players, maybe 2 that was playing at the time. So I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I knew everything the whole time. So, we just want fans to be fans and just just speak their opinion.
Right.
But yeah, so that's what I'm saying. What we need to expect from us, I would say. We just want to interact with the fans. We want to be talking about the past. We're gonna be talking about Eagles, Steelers, all football. Yeah, and that's our little intro to why we're here and what we're doing.
Right.
Now, for this next segment, we're gonna be talking about the 2020 season. So we got 3 games this year as a preseason. So for each episode, for each week that we'll be doing an episode, and every episode we're gonna have a segment where we'll talk back about a previous season that happened. So for example, this episode will be the 2020 season. 2020, you guys went 11-0 to start off the season,
Right.
and then you guys lost to the Commanders, which
Right.
we were talking about that before that. Funny that the Eagles also lost their record,
Right.
Their undefeated record last season to the Commanders as well.
And then they were trash at that time.
When you guys played them,
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
trash.
so
But they've been trash for a minute though. But
They have
but
been.
that time, if you're a really good team, you don't lose like that to that team. And we talk about this, but
Yeah.
keep going.
So
And the reason that I asked you is because this is coming from a Steelers fan, but I want you to tell me as an Eagles fan, seeing the Steelers, disappointing. That's the word that I can use.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of people think like or feel like the Steelers always have good records, winning records, and all that stuff, which is right. But a lot of disappointment when you have the players and the coaches to do better and you don't. So that season, I know that there was a lot of hype with the team
yeah,
being 13-0, but I really knew that the team was not solid.
I think
'Cause,
you guys went week 13. You was 11-0, I believe. 11-0,
Right.
I think it was. Yeah.
But you see, like honestly, who did we play that played great football? The Giants. What do you think? The Giants,
That year,
Denver,
that's a
Houston,
good question.
Eagles,
Eagles that year were not. I wouldn't say weren't.
Browns, Titans, Ravens, Cowboys, Bengals, Jaguars. You don't see any solid team though.
Nah,
And
that
you know what I'm
year,
saying? So
those
you're
the teams that
beating
you
teams.
call, yeah,
You're beating teams that you're supposed to win.
yeah,
And they were not playing winning football. The other teams suck.
Yeah.
If you go back, I know I'm right, bro. Like they were beating teams, yes. The other teams were worse. We're
Yeah.
playing worse. You know what I'm saying? So they got lucky a lot of times, but they were so undisciplined and unprofessional, like on and on with the same
So
stuff.
and it's crazy because that same year you guys had Chase Claypool as a rookie.
Right.
He
Great
won,
talent.
He won. His team voted him Team Rookie of the Year.
Great
You
talent.
know how they give those small
Right.
awards. He was Team Rookie of the Year. Who else was on that team that I seen was?
But really immature though at that time.
And that's what I was about to get to. That even though he played well, his team voted him Team Rookie of the Year, which I guess is worth what it's worth. But the
Right.
fact that he didn't that didn't show up for nothing the following year, or the year after that, is the
Right.
reason why he's with the Chicago Bears now.
Yeah, and the worst part is like not how you start, but how you finish.
Yeah.
It's always about finishing. So
Yeah.
you have a great start, but then how you finish.
Yeah.
You end up losing like
You
3
guys
out of 4
They
games or
lost
something
four.
like that.
They lost 4 out of 5 of the last. Basically,
Terrible.
5 out of 6 if you count the playoff game versus the Browns. That they just lost. Like,
And then you play the Browns, who you're supposed to beat like you always do, and then you get embarrassed.
Yeah.
Like biggest
in the
blowout I
playoffs,
remember.
in the playoffs. Yeah.
You got Juju, Mr. Smith or whatever his name is, getting messed up all over the place. You know what I'm saying? He's talking shit and dancing, and then he gets ran over and punked basically
Yeah.
for talking shit before.
Yeah.
Like so, and I'm not gonna say that's a reflection 100% on the coach, but some of these things, even though I know like everybody loves Coach Tomlin, some of these things it is a reflection of the coach, and these things are unacceptable, and you see the result of them. So
Yeah, because they'll get away with the things that are allowed. So you don't see other organizations like, for example, I'll say the Eagles. That'd be a perfect one for me because obviously I'm an
Right.
Eagles fan. But you don't see our players doing things that would cost us.
Right.
They're not on the
Irresponsible,
media.
just irresponsible. Just
Yeah.
irresponsible. And we're not going to talk about AB and,
Yeah,
Le'Veon Bell and all that drama and all that stuff. What I'm saying is, like, with the Steelers, they always have a good record, a decent record, and that's the word that I can use to describe it. That season and for the last 10 years, it's been decent, but a little bit disappointing.
All right, so basically, to sum it up for the Steelers that year, it started off great, and then turned to a disappointment in the last 6 games of basically the season. So, that was it for them for the 2020.
But real talk, let me say this real quick.
Yeah.
When they lost to the Redskins, Commanders, what are they now?
They were the Washington football team at that time, I think.
You see, it's even like hard or confusing to like think about the team that how you gonna
The way I look at it is,
they don't have a
it's any given Sunday in the NFL, right? So like any team can be any team. We also lost to that team. So I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like
good for them, but about time they get a name and they get all their stuff straightened out. So we're praying for them. But once they lost to them, I knew we were gonna suck for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
I was like, I've been seeing. I seen it coming.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So everybody thinks that we're great. I mean, not everybody, but the Steelers, some of the Steelers fans think that we're great, that we're gonna go to the Super Bowl, and I knew that it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was like, oh, we're gonna suck for a minute now.
Yeah. But what I can say is you guys are showing good signs and moving in the right direction. But I don't know if Mike Tomlin might be part of that future, and we'll leave it there.
Interesting.
We'll leave it there.
Yeah, it's looking better now, but you never know until real games.
So for us,
what about the Eagles?
The Eagles that year, we went 4-11. Horrible year for us. This was like the down year. This has been the worst year for us in the last, I would say, 7, 8, maybe even 10 years. This was probably one of the worst years for us. We went 4-11. Wentz.
How many years removed from the championship team?
We won 2018, I believe, 17-18. 17-18 season we won, I think. Yeah, so that means that was probably 3 years, 3 years.
That's
removed.
crazy. The how fast things change.
Yeah. Well, what happens is when you win a Super Bowl, people got to get paid. People want to get paid, and that's one of the things where you see that with the Chiefs. Don't want to get off topic, but you see that with the Chiefs right now. They got the issue with Chris Jones and trying to get paid. That they won 2 Super Bowls already, so that guy's gonna want to get his money. But
it's hard to stay on top.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So Hurts basically. This is his rookie year. 2020 was Hurts' rookie year. That's why I was so excited to do this, even though it was a bad year for us. He went 1-3 in his 4 starts that year. So to me, I felt like that was just for him getting his feet wet, trying to come out here and play some professional football. Even though he came in he came in games previously to that. So he started the last 4, but like that 5th previous game he played because Wentz got hurt versus the Green Bay Packers. That's when he got his chance, Hurts, to come in. But so to me that was just a year for him to come out, play, show that he should be a true starter, and I believe he did that because he started the following year. And we still have a bunch of players that are still on this team this year from that 4-11 season. The core: Jalen Hurts, Jason Kelsey, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Quez Watkins, Kayvon Wallace, Dallas Goedert, Jake Elliott, and several others. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these players are still on this team. So that just shows you that sometimes all you need is a piece or two, or you just need to do a little better coaching, or just bench somebody. I think Wentz should have been benched. Well, I don't want to say he should have been benched because he played good the year we won the Super Bowl, even though he got hurt that year as well.
Is he still in the league though?
Who?
Wentz?
No, he's not in the league. He's doing workouts with all 3 different teams he played with. He had like the Colts pants. He had the Redskins shirt and the Eagles helmet. He was practicing. Yeah, that was horrible.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good, bro. You good.
What about all pros and who was balling those years?
I believe that year is the only people we had was Jason Kelsey, Fletcher Cox, and Brandon Graham. Those were the 3 that made, if I'm not mistaken, the 3 that made all pro that year.
Well, for the Steelers, as usual, De Castro, Pouncey, Hayward, Watt, and Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
They're always balling. They're solid players.
Yeah.
You can always count on them.
Yeah.
So I might be a little bit negative sometimes, but those players are solid.
Yeah.
I have nothing but respect for those players specifically.
But it just comes to show you that sometimes that one player might cost you, could cost you success. So
It's delicate. It's a delicate sport. and business.
And, of course, I know you wanted to talk about this. So, we covered the Steelers. We covered the Eagles on that season. The NFL. So what happened in total in the NFL? Who won the Super Bowl that year? Do you remember?
So the Chiefs went to the Super Bowls against the Bucks, right?
Yep.
Tom Brady, a.k.a. the GOAT. He's probably going to come back next year and win like maybe 2 more.
Nah, he does.
That Illuminati stuff, you know how it is. There's some things you cannot explain, but
Hey.
anyway. So, yeah, so Bucks Chiefs Super Bowl. Bro, when we were talking about this, I was just saying, like, it reminds us, like, you can have a lot of things together, but if you don't have a solid offensive line and you playing against a defense that is
Really good
coming,
defense, yeah.
if they're coming, you know that makes that hard on everybody else. So pressure, and we see this also with Brady when he lost Super Bowls, it was because that pressure coming.
Yeah.
The Giants beat them.
Well,
great D line and
Eagles
defense
the
in
Eagles,
general.
I got to bring this up because I'm an Eagles fan. The Eagles, we got that. Who got that? I think Brandon Graham got a strip sack on Tom Brady in that that Super Bowl versus
Clutch.
Nick Foles.
That was a clutch play.
Yeah. So that was a huge. That's what the defense, like you're talking about.
Yeah. So because everybody knows, and especially the quarterback know that you don't want to have that pressure in your face, and anytime you see that, you're gonna struggle.
Of course.
And that game, the Chiefs, they were missing, I think, 2 of their starters. 2 of your starters. That's devastating. Yeah. So and that's what we saw, that even if you have a lot of other things in place, if you're not getting protected, and even if you have Patrick Mahomes, who is going to be like you said, the young or the new goat, the baby goat, you're still going to lose. And he showed that defense still wins, and you need an O-line. And the Tom Brady and his magic, or his whatever it is, he's still great.
Yeah,
and he's gonna make enough. You know what I'm saying? And the people around him is gonna believe enough to be great. Yeah. So didn't AB got a ring with him too?
He did, yeah. AB got a ring with him. LaShawn McCoy got a ring with him too.
You seen that dance though?
Yeah.
What is?
That's corny.
Funny as hell. Don't use drugs, please. No. Please remember, don't use drugs. And Antonio Brown, we love you.
So
we love you. So you're making music.
You know how we were talking about, wanting to bring on fans. So I do have one fan here who just became a fan, and we're gonna have him come on for a second just to talk about his experience. I took him with me to Eagles practice last Sunday, I believe it was. We went up there. He's a rugby guy, so he really doesn't watch football. He knows football. He doesn't really keep up with it like that. But he just came out, hung out with us, and then he liked it, had a good time. Next thing you know, he's at the first preseason game. So he's so far went to back-to-back Eagles game. So my guy, Adani,
what up?
What's going on, bro? How you feeling?
Shit, man, it was definitely something exciting, something new for sure.
So how would you say? Well, how do I start this? So first of all, my comparison to why I told him that he should watch the Eagles is because of our left tackle, Jordan Mailata, because he played rugby and he's been with us now for 6 seasons now, and he basically came over from rugby, and my friend loves rugby and he played rugby as well. So I felt like that was a great comparison. I think that would make him want to like the Eagles. So how would you say first the practice, going to a football practice? I know it's not a game, but how did you feel about going to that practice? I know you had a good time for a fact.
To be honest, I mean, on the way there, I thought it was just going to be like we're watching them just run routes, a little ghost playing, all that stuff, whatever. But I like the fact that they actually made it like a scrimmage.
Yeah, small scrimmage.
They rotated people out so you can focus on and see who's actually going to be doing something this season and who's not. So it gave you a chance to see the different players and see what levels they're at.
Right.
But it didn't look like half speed. It looked like they were going hard. Like it was intense. Yeah. Or did it look like they were still not going 100%? What do you think?
I'd say probably like a good 85%. I wouldn't say 100.
Because they weren't allowed to fully tackle, but they were going full speed. But they just couldn't, do a full tackle. Once they got to the point, then they stopped.
I'm talking about the effort. Like the players going hard on the reps and stuff like that. Or
yeah, I think they was. Yeah, I think they was. Hell yeah. So again, that was just a practice, and I encourage anybody to just go to their team practices if they ever have any open practices. One, it's for a good cause. They're raising money. And 2, it's a good time. You know what I'm saying? So that was a practice. We got that out the way. You go to a game. You go to the first Eagles preseason game over there in, what is it? What is it, M&T? is it MNT Stadium?
I believe so.
I think. I'm sorry, I don't know the Ravens. Yeah, but he went to the Radiant Stadium to watch the first
the
preseason
family.
game.
Shout out to Herman and Johnny.
Yeah. Shout out to the guys, man.
Very
Shout out.
thankful and appreciative for the invite for sure.
Yeah. So
Good people.
he ended up going to that preseason game, and give us your experience from when you got out the vehicle and you started walking in. Good.
Yeah, as soon as I got out the vehicle, the shit talking, when, right off the jump, all the way from the car, all the way to the stadium.
You were repping the colors though.
I was the only one with an Eagles shirt.
He
on,
wore
apparently.
Eagles shirt. He bought an Eagles
Nobody
shirt
else
when we went
brought
to
a
the practice.
jersey or anything else. Any other team, it was
What about Johnny? What was Johnny wearing?
Just
Was
like a
he an undercover fan?
It was a neutral shirt. Yeah,
Fake.
He didn't want no smoke.
Fake, come on,
Yeah.
Johnny. That's your boy
Don't do
right
that.
there.
Yeah, he should have been eagled up, man.
Yo,
I'm disappointed, Johnny.
He big for
It's all
nothing,
love,
Johnny.
though.
What's
It's all
up?
love,
Come
though.
on,
He was with us when we was doing the chants and everything. So
Yeah. So at least he was chanting and he was showing that he was part of the
for
team
sure.
at that point. All right, you got it. You got your points
You know
back.
you're protected with Johnny though. So they're not gonna mess with him though.
Hell no.
As a bodyguard, right there.
So all that shit talking, you know what I'm saying? And then you guys get inside and what would you say was one of the best plays you saw that night that got you hype and got the Eagles fans hype?
I would say for sure the interception.
I think that was Eli Ricks. Eli
don't
Ricks
exactly
pick
know, but
six.
it
He
was
caught
right
it and
for
ran it
us.
back for a touchdown.
Yeah.
That was Eli Ricks. Yeah.
It was right in front of us, and it was just like a pivotal moment in the play. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
in the game itself alone. So we was all hype.
Yeah.
Everybody who was around, got up and showed love to each other, and we
Of
all
course.
did the Eagles chant.
Even though you guys
I
probably
just
were.
learned it just last weekend, but
Yeah.
I was in there screaming.
That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm
Great
talking about,
experience,
man.
right? Great
Yeah.
experience.
He joins the team and he's already going full throttle, man. I love it, bro. I love it.
I just love the energy for real. I like the whole stadium vibe. Only time I've had to experience that is when I went over to Vegas and watched the rugby tournament.
rugby
Other than that,
tournaments,
most part, rugby matches are either on the beach or at a state park.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's like a family vibe, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's crazy.
It was strangers at that. You
Family
don't know
vibe.
nobody, but they see you you repping the same team.
We family now.
Yeah.
That's what sports. That's sports right there, though.
Indeed.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And then this is what I'm encouraging you guys to do, man. This guy right here, like I said, he's a brand new fan and still has something to say, had a quick experience. Like, we want fans to reach out to us and we'll communicate with us because we'll get you on. We can get you on through a Zoom call. We can get you on calling on the phone and just give your opinion. Like, we want the fans to feel heard on this podcast. This is a fans podcast. We would have called it the fans podcast, but, we got to represent the Steelers and the Eagles. So it's Steagles, baby. You know what I'm saying? It's Steagles.
I want to say, like, you might not have a chance to go to Sports Centers or First Take or something like that and debate Stephen A. Smith, but
Right.
you can come here
And you can
know what I'm
debate
saying? You can
DJ
debate
Baez
us,
and
you can
Ed.
talk.
Yeah.
You can talk some shit if you want to.
And you're gonna get two different point of views. You got a somebody who played football, somebody who coached football, somebody who ref football. I never did any of that. I just watched it as a fan and enjoyed it from this side. So you're gonna get two different fanatic points of views here. So we're just gonna be honest. You might not like it, you might like it, but we'll be honest with you.
Once again, we trying to teach and learn, to be honest, and not about just the Steelers, but just in general football
All teams.
or anything. So just like that experience that he had, that's what we're looking for. Have experiences like that where we can feel like family here and keep learning and teaching and having fun and talking some shit about
course.
the Ravens, especially from time to time.
In Dallas, man, forget your Cowboys. You know what I'm saying?
I
No,
don't
I'm just
know
kidding.
about
But
that.
I'm not really kidding. But yeah, man. So this is where we're at.
What else we got?
I would say, did you see the Steelers preseason game? Because I know I watched the Eagles.
I watched a little bit of it. And
How did you
I
feel?
don't. Preseason is preseason.
You can't take it too. Yeah, you gotta take it with a grain of salt.
But honestly, just the fact that the starting quarterback, I know he needs the reps, but you probably want to see other things because that's gonna be your guy. By now, he should be ready. So I don't know why he's starting the first preseason game, which is
Who started?
Pickett's.
Well, I think he only came in to get some rep. He was out. He came in.
was
He
out
played
early.
the first drive. I think he was out. I don't think he played that much. Yeah.
But and what I saw, it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
It looked pretty good. But honestly, it's gonna depend on the mindset. If they come with the same mindset they had a few years, that they don't have to be professionals at all times, then this is a game that if you don't go 100% all the time, you're gonna get smacked. You're gonna get embarrassed.
Yeah.
These are professional players. They should know this by now.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, if you play high school and you lose and you get embarrassed, they're gonna talk about it for a little bit. you're not gonna be on ESPN every. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like these guys should know this, and they put themselves in a situation that, you know, if you don't show effort, it's gonna show, and you're gonna get embarrassed. So I'm not saying like, you know, you gotta be perfect, of course. Effort.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what you expect from any level.
Yeah.
Any sport. So effort. If they come with the right effort, I think I'm very positive. I'm very positive and optimistic about this year, to be honest with you.
All right. And for me, for the Eagles, I would say that preseason game I watched, or the highlights and everything. Well, I actually watched the whole game and the highlights after, just to go back and see the highlight plays. But I think that our rookies play very well. I think Jalen Carter only had 3 snaps. I think they didn't let him play that much. But when he went in, he had a really good, almost sacked the quarterback. I think everybody looked good. I think other than Mariota here and there, and then the 4th string, it looked horrible in my opinion. But the 3rd string, A.J. McCarron looked good. I believe that was – not McCarron. I'm sorry. Tanner McKee. I don't know why the hell I said A.J. McCarron. Tanner McKee is our 3rd string quarterback. He's solid. He looked real solid out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't trust any quarterback on my team. None of them yet. You know what I'm saying? But so that's gonna be a working process. But and I just seen a few plays, and I know number 42, he needs to work on his technique or his something though, because he was looking like lost out there, and you know, I don't want to get into details.
Yeah, you won't get too far.
Hopefully, I can see some progress.
On our next episode, we will be covering the 2021 season, and then what our teams did respectively, and we will also be talking about the second preseason game. You know, just taking everything with a grain of salt. Excuse me. But yeah, so we're not gonna take it too serious because it's like you said, it's just preseason,
right.
And you know, once the first game of the season starts, then we'll start diving into the details. But right now, I think
those are the games that really count.
Yeah,
so
those are the games that count for sure.
You can win or lose these, and it's not a big deal. It's just like in a few weeks that it's gonna really matter.
Yeah,
it gets serious.
So that is it for our first episode, guys. I want to thank my boy Adani for being here for this one, and just sharing his point of view on the podcast. And then I want to send a quick shout out to my man PNC Yellen. You know, my boss had to sponsor my shirt for this first episode. Got to show it to you guys real quick.
That is fire.
A bird gang, you feel me? Go Birds. But yeah, and then again, this is just our first episode. This is like a preseason for us. We're learning as we go. We just wanted to start recording and just get the feel for it and start sharing, knowledge with you guys and take knowledge from you guys at the same time. So I appreciate you guys watching this episode, man, and we will definitely be back next week with part 2 or episode 2, however you want to think about it. But this was the Steagles podcast where we talk about all Steelers, all Eagles, all NFL. Let's go.